Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And I did do a video a few minutes ago, but I thought I may have launched it on my own personal profile page. So I apologize if those that will watch it, I just quit all of a sudden. But I do want to talk a little bit about Alvin Kamara's contract, and I want to take any questions if any come across the news feed. But first, let me go ahead and let everybody know that the State of the Saints podcast, I am launching a series of NFL prospect videos on potential players that can end up landing with the New Orleans Saints because of the NFL draft. I'm about 2 videos in. I did one on Laviska Shenault, the wide receiver out of Colorado, and also did one on Justin Jefferson. And I want people to understand, I know, people are, throwing names out there, different positions. But I just want to let you know, man, I got a lot of ammunition in the clip, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to talk about any and everybody. I'm going to talk about every single person I feel that's probably going to land at the number 24 position with the New Orleans Saints, rather it be a wide receiver, rather it be a cornerback, a quarterback, an offensive lineman. I'm spending like countless hours researching some of these guys and also pulling up some of their old videos, and not just highlights either. I'm talking about actual real-time footage that the guys that I'm actually covering. So it's not about just, watching their highlights. Of course, the key word is highlights, okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to put low lights on there, you know what I'm saying? So we want to make sure that we're giving you quality research. We're giving you a quality analysis on these players because, I want to let everybody know it's not because of bias or anything like that. I'm talking pros and cons. I'm on a scale of 1 to 10 where I feel the Saints are going to draft these players, and also where I feel like when it comes to longevity and could they possibly transition to the NFL level. So I know a lot of names that come up. I heard some offensive linemen. I heard players like the play out of Florida, C.J. Henderson. So many guys, that people want me to talk about and discuss, but, we got a long way to the draft. So, there's several players that are going to be evaluated by yours truly. So, I'm in no way telling people, not to inbox me, because I want you all to inbox me. It might be an individual that I didn't pick up, a person that kind of flew under the radar. So if you know somebody that you want me to evaluate, a person that you want me to break down and discuss, please inbox me. You can inbox me or below the video that you watched that I put out. You can comment down below. I'm just trying to make sure that I let everybody know about some of these players. And also, are these players going to be there when the Saints pick at 24? What the Saints going to have to do to get these guys? For example, with Simmons, the linebacker out of Clemson, people want me to do an evaluation video on Simmons, but to be quite honest with you, man, I think this guy is going to be like a top 5, top 10 pick. I will still do an evaluation on him, but, 9 times out of 10, the Saints going to have to move heaven and earth to get him. But, I still will talk about other players. Another guy like CeeDee Lamb. There's so many guys that I feel like are not going to be there. But I will give scenarios in which I feel like the Saints would have to do in order to go up to get these guys and what they would have to give up. But videos are coming really soon on some of these NFL draft prospects. So keep it locked to the State of the Saints podcast, and also just videos and highlights of college players and stuff like that, and a little bit of a mock draft. So, and also if you have a mock draft that you see, from the New Orleans Saints, what players they're going to draft, go ahead and, and inbox it to me. Like you see the Saints picking at 24 in the first round, then also in the third round, and so on and so forth. Go ahead and put your mock draft together, and let's see what you come up with. But that's all I got to say about that video and breaking down NFL prospects. But let's go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and move on to this Alvin Kamara situation. Now, Alvin Kamara, according to sources, is willing to sit out. If he does not have a contract by the beginning of the season. And, this is a very interesting topic, man. This is so interesting because we've seen Alvin Kamara since he came into the league his rookie season back in 2017. He tore up the league. He was Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's made the Pro Bowl every single year he's been in the league. He was honestly one of the most electrifying players, to be in the league that we've seen in a very long time. I mean, he has a wide range of skills that can be utilized by the New Orleans Saints, but now it's coming down to what his market value is. And according to the NFL aficionados out there, they say his market value is $15.5 million, which will make him the highest paid running back in the National Football League. That will put him past Ty Gurley. That will put him past Zeke Elliott. That will make him the number one running back in the NFL. So there's a lot of questions that need to be answered here, and a lot of questions that are being asked. Is Alvin Kamara worth $15.5 million? And I'm about to be 100% honest with you. And honestly, I won't say I don't care, but it really don't matter what other people may think about the situation, okay? I'm looking at it based on, production. I'm looking at it based on skill set. I'm looking at it based on, can I see him being able to lead the Saints to a Super Bowl? And this has absolutely nothing to do with, him as a player. My answer is no. He is not worth $15.5 million. Now, I know I might make a lot of people mad. I know I made a lot of people upset because they love themselves some Alvin Kamara, especially the ladies. They think he cute. But it goes way beyond just him being cute. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I don't care about how his dreads swing when he running the football. I don't care how pearly white his teeth is. I could care less. It's about production. The two things that are different from these situations are the guys that I just named, Ezekiel Elliott, Ty Gurley, is the fact that those guys are every down backs. Those guys do not leave the field, okay? Alvin Kamara leaves the field, and he rotates with Latavius Murray. Well, he should rotate with Latavius Murray, but we all know that Sean Payton don't run the football. But I digress. He should never leave the field for $15.5 million. For $15.5 million, you are the every down back. You are catching the ball out of the backfield. You are running between the tackles, and the only way you lead a game is when you put your hand up in the air and the coaches call you back and they put the other guy in. Okay? That is what $15.5 million is worth. What he's doing for the New Orleans Saints, it ain't worth it, bro. And I think we all seen that when he is the every down back, he hasn't delivered. And I know people are saying, oh, he was hurt throughout the season. Oh, he was hurt. Like, man, bump all that. I'm going to be 100% with y'all, man. I don't think Alvin Kamara was all in this season. I don't think he was all in. The way that he was running the football, it was like it was timid. And honestly, I think when he got hurt, I think it was an indication of him, you know what I'm saying? I think he thought to himself, that he wanted to shut it down. He was going to shut it down because he was like, okay, man, I'm getting hurt right now, and I ain't even got a big contract. I'm on a rookie deal. What happens if I go out here, you know what I'm saying, and go, excuse my French, balls to the wall, and all of a sudden I get hurt, and then I'm out for the season, and then I'm damaged goods, and I'm not getting my money. I don't care what anybody says. Looking back at those games, because I'm telling y'all right now, this is not just me just evaluating throughout the season. I went back and I watched this because I wanted to be careful. This whole Alvin Kamara contractual situation has been going on for a good little minute now. So I wanted to make sure that I wasn't tripping before I present this to you. I went back and I watched some of these football games that Alvin Kamara was a part of. I'm going to give you several examples of why I feel like he phoned it in. For example, the Tennessee Titans game. Do you remember in the Tennessee Titans game when it was it was 3rd and 9, okay? Drew Brees threw the ball to Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara caught the ball, and he went straight out of bounds. He did not put his foot in the ground to try to make a football play or anything like that. He just took what the defense gave him. Rookie season, Alvin Kamara would not have done that. Alvin Kamara would have put his foot in the ground and fought for extra yards. Think about this, folks. What made you fall in love with Alvin Kamara? It was the fact that he was so slippery. He was able to break these tackles. He was so elusive. He wasn't the fastest guy in the world, but he can just break some of these tackles, man. And he just left guys looking like, man, I just put a big shot on this guy. Man, you know what I'm saying? I just wrapped this guy up. And he did absolutely nothing. Another play. Drew Brees threw him the football, and instead of him turning around, getting upfield, this was against the Minnesota Vikings. He threw the ball to him, and he started to back up instead of him turning around and going upfield. And instead of him getting probably another 9 or 10 yards, he ended up getting about 3 or 4. This is what I'm saying right here, folks. Okay, I take it very serious the way young players come into the league playing the game. I take it very serious because I feel like it's going to be an indication on what their future is. I mean, that's just the way that I see it. You look at people like Michael Thomas, who elevates his game year after year after year, and he improves year after year after year. You can say to yourself, rather there was a lot of talk going on, in a Who Dat Nation before he got his money. Oh, I don't think you need to pay him. Oh, he ain't worth $20 million, yada, yada, yada. But what did he do when he got his money? He became the NFL's all-time reception leader in the season, record holder. He was the offensive player of the year. So I would say that was a return on the investment. I would say that because even though the Saints lost in the first round of the playoffs, it had nothing to do with Michael Thomas, not being able to perform. That's the way I look at guys. I look at what guys do the first couple of years of their career. And honestly, I didn't even think about it, but I didn't think that this was a contractual year for Alvin Kamara. And now that I think about it, it all makes sense. He was saving himself for a big contract. $15.5 million for Alvin Kamara, I would not pay. I like Alvin Kamara. I hope that he will end up being with the Saints in the future. But if it costs $15.5 million, I have to say I have to chunk up the deuce. Okay, I just got to be honest with you. I'm just going to chunk it up. You do not want to spend $15.5 million on a player that's not going to be on the field every down. Okay, Latavius Murray in some ways had better production than he did. And honestly, I feel like if Latavius Murray was the starting running back for the New Orleans Saints this season, he probably would have been a much better running back than Alvin Kamara was this season. I mean, because when Latavius is in the game, he's in the game. And I feel like the thing about it is the fact that we weren't talking about Latavius Murray as much was because he was on the sidelines. You can't just put a running back on the sidelines, and parade him out there. He runs the ball one time for 5 yards, and then you don't see him again until like the third and fourth quarter and expect this guy to go out here and break it. I mean, it's like a preheated oven, for example, right? You put the preheated oven on 375. It takes a while for it to start warming up. You can't just, put something in the oven, press bake, and all of a sudden it's just going to cook in the next 2 minutes. Not happening. Okay, so you got to warm these guys up. And I feel like Latavius Murray, the reason why he wasn't as productive is because Sean Payton wasn't utilizing him. You got to allow your running backs to go out there, man, and bang around a little bit, in order for them to start warming up. Eventually, the defense is going to get tired of trying to tackle these guys, and that's where the big runs come from. What do you think about like Saquon Barkley and stuff like that, man? Saquon ain't out there just taking the world by storm, man. Saquon out here getting 2 yards, 3 yards, 2 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards. And eventually, the defense just get tired, and all of a sudden, here comes Saquon, 65 yards, 72 yards. You get what I'm saying? You can't just sit up here and just expect this man to come out here like we playing Madden or something. You know what I'm saying? Just 75 yards out the gate, 80 yards out the gate. So I feel like if Latavius Murray was playing and being one of those every down backs, we seen what he did when Alvin Kamara was injured, and the Saints were utilizing the running game, he answered the call. $15.5 million for Alvin Kamara, absolutely not. We can negotiate 11, maybe even 12, but 15.5, he is not worth $15.5 million. And I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if you're an Alvin Kamara fan, if you're rocking number 41, if you like the dreads, you like the smile, you like the swag, you like the nose ring, you like all that about him, look, it's cool, man. I like his demeanor, too. I like how he's a man of the people. He walks around the French Quarter like he's just a regular Joe Blow. But at the end of the day, this ain't about a popularity contest. This ain't about somebody, with a great smile and some dreads. This ain't got nothing to do with that. This got something to do with the future of the franchise. I'm a Saints fan, okay? I'm a fan of players on the team, but I'm a Saints fan first. Way before Michael Thomas was here, way before Lattimore was here, way before Brees was here, I was a Saints fan. And the Saints have to continue this franchise for years to come. And I do not want to have them spending $15.5 million on a guy who is not going to give you that return on investment. Like, Alvin Kamara will never lead the league in rushing, ever. He will never lead the league in rushing. Honestly, I don't even think he'll ever be a top 5 rusher. So why would you pay $15.5 million to a guy that is never going to lead the league in rushing, never probably going to lead the league in touchdowns? It's just not going to happen because Sean Payton don't commit enough to the running game, and he shares the backfield with Latavius Murray. So anybody that's thinking that he's worth $15.5 million, I'm sorry to tell you, man, it is a waste of time. It does not make any sense at all. Okay? Honestly, I know running backs are supposed to be special, but at the end of the day, you can find yourself a running back that can catch out of the backfield and that can be elusive. I'm sorry. I mean, we didn't know who P.L. Thomas was a couple years ago, right? We didn't know who P.L. was, but he was able to run between the tackles. And every single person that P.L. Thomas went up against, because every single year, the Saints did not want to make P.L. Thomas the starting running back. Bring Reggie Bush in. Bring Mike Bell in. He beat them all out. And you know why? Because you have the determination and the drive to be the best, to be the starter. I understand it's a competition, but I'm better than those guys, and I'm going to prove it. So I feel like you can bring in guys that can catch the ball out of the backfield, and you can bring in more suitable guys that can run between the tackles. That's just a fact. Okay, I'm not discrediting what Alvin Kamara has done in the Saints uniform, but realistically, for $15.5 million, man, I ain't seeing it. I'm not seeing it, folks. I'm not seeing it. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and open the floor for you all. Ask any questions or make any comments. I'm going to read them right now. Let's see. Roland PS says, make them mad. Man, you keep it real. Always with them. This dude know football. Roland, man, thank you very much. Look, that's all I can be, Roland. I can't be fake and phony, man. It's time out for the fake and phony stuff, man. Like, for real. Like, I know why most people like some of these Saints players. Because, you know, they got emotional investment in them. So anytime that you go at any of these players next, they get mad. Because they're using their hearts and not their minds sometimes. Because you're looking at this player like, oh, you know, I like this player. Oh, he good. It goes beyond the fact that he's good. There are several players that end up leaving teams, you know, because the teams can't pay them or they feel like it won't be for the betterment of their future. It has absolutely nothing to do with these players at all. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I like Alvin Kamara. But realistically, $15.5 million, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it, folks. Like, $15.5 million, that would make him the highest paid running back in the National Football League. Think about this, folks. Alvin Kamara didn't even rush for 1,000 yards. He didn't rush for 1,000 yards, man. And honestly, he shouldn't even made the Pro Bowl. He made the Pro Bowl, in my opinion, based on the fact that he's Alvin Kamara. Based on the fact that he was, featured on Madden. He was on the Madden commercials. And you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a household name now. Because, you know, when he came into the league, he was putting up these, these historical numbers. I mean, he didn't deserve to go to no Pro Bowl, man. I'm going to be honest with you. He didn't. He did not deserve to go to the Pro Bowl. Come on, man. I would put him in a category with Andrews Pete not being able to go to the Pro Bowl this season. And I like Alvin Kamara, but he did absolutely nothing. He did absolutely nothing for him to be going to the Pro Bowl. I mean, he went from week 2 scoring a touchdown. He ain't scored another touchdown for 9 weeks after that. And you telling me that is a guy that deserved to go to the Pro Bowl? Man, stop it. Stop it. Cut it out. The offense was better with Murray pounding the ball. Yeah, because it was simplistic. It was a simplistic, it was a simplistic offense. It wasn't no secret. It wasn't no secret to how the Saints were playing offense, Ken. It was running the football, setting up the play action, throwing the ball down the field, milking and, nickeling and diming their way down the field. That's what it was. It wasn't around here no end arounds. It wasn't no jet sweeps. It wasn't all these exotic, stupid plays that don't go nowhere. It was simple. And Latavius Murray did a good job. 159 total yards from scrimmage from Latavius Murray when he was a starter for the Saints. So for anybody that's coming at me and saying, oh, man, the Saints, you can get rid of Kamara if you want to, 159 total offensive yards from scrimmage from Latavius Murray. And don't tell me, oh man, who he played. He played the Bears. The Bears have one of the best defenses in the National Football League. Even though their quarterback stinks, I mean, he can't hit the back of a barn door. The fact is the Chicago Bears are one of the most respected defenses in the NFL. And he ran for 110 yards on them. That's all I got to say. He used to leap over people. Dusty, he still leaps over people. He leapt over somebody, before, a couple games back. But it's way beyond that. It's way beyond that, Dusty. You know what I'm saying? I can care less about him leaping over people. I'm worried about him running in between the tackles. I'm worried about him getting upfield. I'm worried about him having production. I don't care about him leaping over nobody. I'm just saying, like, the drive, the determination, the things that we saw that made us fall in love with number 41, I mean, they died. They died this season. I needed to see more out of him, and he was around here, getting mad at fans, talking about, oh, the fans, they only see certain things, and they don't really know what's going on. Look, man, sometimes, most of the time we don't know what's going on. We don't know what these guys injecting into their bodies. We don't know what these guys are going through Monday through Saturday. We do not know. But at the end of the day, when I see you giving up on plays, when I see you going out of bounds instead of putting your foot in the ground and going upfield when you could pick up about 5 or 6 more yards, when I see you backing up when you could easily turn upfield to go get more yards, man, I mean, Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder can see that you giving up on plays, bro. And honestly, I feel like if a guy is like this right now, what's going to happen when you give him money? I mean, we seen this before, man. May I interest you in Ndamukong Suh? Ndamukong Suh, to me, is an NFL mercenary. I think he's one of those guys that don't even care about Super Bowls. He don't care about winning a Super Bowl. He don't care about his legacy. I don't think he cares about a gold jacket at all. I just think that he just sells himself to the highest bidder. Because in my opinion, if you're not selling yourself to the highest bidder, why would you leave the Los Angeles Rams, who were in the Super Bowl with you one year, to go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who haven't made the playoffs in about 7 or 8 years? That tells you everything you need to know about players like that. And for that, I have absolutely no respect for guys like that. I don't have respect for guys that just quit like that. Because there are several other players that are on the outside looking in that wish that they could be a running back for the Saints, that wish they could exercise their talents week in, week out, and you squandering it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you leaving things on the field to be desired. So it's not, like I said, I'm taking a personal attack at Alvin Kamara. I just know that he can be much more than what he showed, and it's very discouraging when you know a player can be so much more and he doesn't show it. Mike earned his cash. Yeah, Dusty, he did. Ties 15.5 a year. Yep, that's what they saying. That's his market value. I like Murray better than Kamara. Kamara ain't been the same since he got hurt. Yeah, Darwin. Look, I don't want to say I like Murray more than Kamara. I think they're good. I think they're a good 1-2 punch. I do. But when we're talking about $15.5 million, when we're talking about being the highest paid running back in the National Football League, you got to be an every down back. There shouldn't be no running back by committee for 15.5. You want to be the guy. You want to be the 15.5 guy, man. Go out to Buffalo. Go. I don't even say New England because Belichick ain't paying you. Go out there to Tampa. Places like that that's going to give you $15.5 million for you to be that every down back, to be that featured guy. Go out there to Seattle. San Francisco or something like that. Like maybe one of those places, they'll make you an every down back. But the New Orleans Saints running back by committee and a team that is not even committed to the run, that rather throw the ball all over the place, you know what I'm saying? The passing game is their running game. Not 15.5, my friend. You wasting money. I like the first few seasons, Kamara. This season, not so much. Yeah. Murray is a pounder. Kamara is not a pounder. Kamara isn't a number one. He feeds off that energy like he did with Ingram. Kamara is better catching a short pass and taking off down the field, breaking tackles. Yeah, KL, I mean, that's the truth. I mean, that's what he is, though. He's a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield. He has better hands than most running backs. Honestly, he has hands like receivers almost, I mean, it's a couple passes I've seen him catch. I mean, I think some receivers couldn't catch him. He does a great job in the passing game, man, and catching the ball out of the backfield, but that don't give you no money, man. I mean, Derrick Henry gets the 15.5s. You know what I'm saying? Zeke Elliott gets the 15.5s. People like that. Ty Gurley gets the 15.5s, man. These running backs that get the ball 25 plus times a game, those are the 15.5ers. He's more like the 12 mil or 12.5ers, the 11s. You know what I'm saying? That's what he is. He's not a guy that you can just count on in a running game that can, when it's the last 5 minutes of the game or the last 3 minutes of the game, you can keep on giving him the ball over and over again and count on this guy to, win you the game or get a couple first downs to seal the deal. I don't see that from him. I don't. And when you don't have a guy like that, it's not worth 15.5. He was for sure way better when Ingram was around. Yeah, he was, man. I don't know if it was just Ingram's, mentorship. I don't know if it was just the brotherhood that they had. But honestly, man, I feel like that's a cop-out. I mean, Mark Ingram ain't playing for him. Mark Ingram ain't out there on the field for him. When he running between the tackles, it wasn't Mark, out there, running the ball, for him. It was the fact that he was doing it for himself. So, I mean, I'm not buying into that whole thing. Yeah, I mean, the big brother aspect, was that missing? Absolutely, okay? I mean, they did interviews together, for God's sakes. But, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, Mark Ingram going to retire one day. Mark Ingram, you know what I'm saying, just trying to feed his family, just like so many other players, man. You can't just hit your wagon to one guy and be like, oh, man, he ain't here, so I'm not going to rush for 70-plus yards today. I'm not going to try to break this tackle, man. Like, you're not playing for Mark Ingram, man. You're playing for your own legacy. And if you're playing for Mark Ingram, man, you might as well just get out of football, because what are you doing it for, man? I mean, you're doing it because you want to feed your family. You want to be able to secure yourself and have generational wealth. That's what you're trying to do, man. That's what Mark Ingram trying to do. Mark Ingram, what he did when he left New Orleans and went to Baltimore, he turned all the way up. You know what I'm saying? Had better numbers than he did statistically in the 9 years that he was with the Saints. So, I mean, come on, man. Like, man, secure your own legacy, man. Secure your own bag. That's what Ingram doing. Kamara is special. You going off one injury-based season, man. Give him more time. J-Rock, it's not that I'm going off one season, man. I need you to understand what I'm saying, okay? I want you to completely understand what I'm saying, and I'm glad that somebody said this, because this is what I'm talking about. People are listening to what I'm saying right now, and they think that this is a personal attack on Alvin Kamara. It has absolutely nothing to do with a personal attack on Alvin Kamara. What I'm saying, J-Rock, is $15.5 million is designed for every down back. And he is not a every down back. Okay? That's just what it is. And honestly, the whole one season thing, I mean, I'm just saying, how much do you need to see for a guy that gives up on plays? Okay? I will continue to come on here and say this. If you're giving up on plays, I'm going to call you out. That's just what it is. If you're giving up on plays, if you're not giving your all, and I'm seeing certain things out of you seasons past and I'm not seeing this year, I'm going to wonder what happened. Now, the only time I give you a pass is if you were doing this stuff when you're like 24 and you're like 31. Okay, for example, Marshawn Lynch. I mean, he got signed late in the season with the Seahawks, right? I didn't expect Marshawn Lynch at age 33 to be out there running people over and breaking tackles like he was 25, 26. But this isn't like Alvin Kamara didn't show us that he can break tackles. This isn't like Alvin Kamara didn't show us he can't put his foot in the ground and go upfield. He showed us this before. So it's not a personal attack. I'm just going by what I see. And I'm just going by what I know. Most players that get that type of money and become the highest paid player at their position is because they are, the team leans heavily on them. And the Saints do not, I repeat, do not rely heavily on Alvin Kamara. It's a few people on the defense that should be replaced too. Put that out there. Yeah, that's true, Jeter. That's absolutely true, man. I mean, the Eli Apples and the PJ Williams of the world and the Patrick Robinsons who've been stealing money for the last 2 seasons. I absolutely agree with you, Jeter. 100%. Okay? But once again, I'm not trying to deflect here. We're focusing on the task at hand. And that is Alvin Kamara. Okay? I will talk about those guys at another time. We will all hear some of the, those trademark lines, smoke like brisket, burnt like a biscuit, down the line. But as of right now, we're talking about Alvin Kamara and any other questions that you may have or any comments. But I will address those secondary players at a later date. You forgetting about his first 2 seasons. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I mentioned those first 2 seasons, and that's one of the reasons why I said I was discouraged. I mean, we got to get away from this, Who Dat Nation. We got to cut it out, man. Like, for real. Like, stop taking comments and players to heart, man. Like, we act like, these players, when we hear somebody criticize them, like we talking about our mama, our daddy or something like that. Like, if he's out there underperforming, call it for what it is. That don't mean that you saying that he's bad. That's not saying that you think that he's awful. That's not saying that you think that, he's not all he cracked up to be. I think Alvin Kamara is really good. He's just not $15.5 million good. I mean, you gotta be on some Derrick Henry type stuff, man. I'm telling you. You cannot be a player making $15.5 million and you getting about 9 carries. Like, you wasting your time. And honestly, the only thing y'all gonna do if they end up paying the guy, and I know, man, I've been down this road so many times. The only thing y'all gonna say when they pay him 15.5 and he get 9 carries, why we paying him for? Why we paying him? I mean, he ain't even playing. He gotta hit the hole. That's all y'all gonna say. And I'm telling y'all right now, I'm saving y'all the breath of saying that statement because that's what's gonna happen. And when you combine 15.5 and the inability of Sean Payton to run the football on a consistent basis, you're only wasting your money. You might as well just take $15.5 million in a suitcase and go to the tallest bridge where water is underneath and throw it in there because that's equivalent to what you're going to be getting on the field. Straight up. Nope, especially when he plays like he did this season. Man, this season and the way that he's used, he's not worth 15.5. Lattimore been slipping for real. That boy been bumping his head real talk. Darwin, Lattimore is the best cornerback that the Saints ever had. Lattimore is the best cornerback the Saints ever had. That's my opinion. You're not going to, like, people can say what they want about Lattimore. Does he play uninspired sometimes? Yes. Does he get beat sometimes? Yes. But I can tell y'all right now, like, go look at Pro Football Focus. Go look at his numbers. He's ranked in the top 5 among cornerbacks. The thing about it is, we see the production and we think that a guy like this, he's supposed to shut guys down every single game. Let's just break this down and let's just be realistic about this, folks. The Saints go up against probably play some of the best wide receivers in all in NFL with Mike Evans and Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley and crew. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, guys get paid on the other side of the ball to catch the ball too. And, I mean, people look at this guy and be like, oh, he's shutting him down. And then somebody catch a pass on him. Man, what are you doing? He sucked. Give me 3 New Orleans Saints that were better than Marshawn Lattimore. Give me 3. Give me 3 cornerbacks that were better than Marshawn Lattimore that played for the Saints. Please. And I guarantee you, the ones that y'all probably going to bring up with is Jabari Greer, who used to get smoked. Tracy Porter, who used to get smoked. You know what I'm saying? Like, back in the day, Toy Cook, who used to get smoked. That's what, like, honestly, man, be real. I mean, Tracy Porter, I put up the video of him catching that pick 6 to seal the deal in Super Bowl 44. But let's call it for what it is, folks. Tracy Porter used to get smoked too, okay? I mean, honestly, we kind of forget about some of those things. because, of the interception from Brad, on Brad Favre in the NFC Championship game and a pick six from Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl. But don't act like this man wasn't getting smoked. Let's not act like this guy was barely, wasn't on the field, because most of the time he was dealing with knee injuries, was out 6 and 7 weeks at a time. Stop it, folks. Marshawn Lattimore is the best cornerback the Saints have ever had. The Saints are lucky to have a cornerback like Marshawn Lattimore. This guy, according to Mel Kiper's mock draft, he was supposed to go number 3. He slid down the board because, he had some histories of having hamstring injuries at Ohio State. The Saints were fortunate. They were fortunate to get this dude. And I don't care what anybody says. This guy can go out there and, yeah, he going to get, he going to get posterized sometimes. But I guarantee you, look who he's getting posterized against, okay? When you seen this man getting smoked and burnt by people that's not nine-namers? I will take him getting smoked, against Antonio Brown. I will take him getting smoked against Julio Jones. I will take him getting smoked against Mike Evans, because there's so many other players out there that at the cornerback position, unless your name is Stephon Gilmore, the same thing happens too. I think we get spoiled in the Who Dat Nation. I think that we look at guys and we think that when you think of corners, you think that anytime you throw a guy a football, he's supposed to be batting it down, and that's what a true corner is supposed to do. Yeah, that's true. They're supposed to bat the ball down. But at the end of the day, Who Dat Nation, guys are going to get posterized. That's just the way that it is. These guys on the other side of the football, the wide receivers, the tight ends, these guys get paid a lot of money too to catch the football. So, once again, I encourage anybody to name at least 3 cornerbacks that are better than Marshawn Lattimore. Please, pretty please, please. And I've been watching the Saints for a long time. So please don't throw no garbage out there, because I will rip that to shreds. Kamara got in because McCaffrey pulled out. Yep. 41 view it a sign, go Kamara. I never thought that he was an every down back. Mark Ingram made him look good. We still alive? Yeah, we still alive. Hollywood falling off backwards. You can't blame Kamara for the play calling. Look at last season and this season. The blocking and holes weren't there. Like before. Keenan, don't do this, man. Don't do it, man. Stop making excuses. Okay? Latavius Murray can run through the hole. Latavius Murray was out there getting yards. Latavius Murray was out there fighting for extra yards. And honestly, go look at the Saints ranking. According to Pro Football Focus, they're ranked number 3 as an offensive line unit. I can't take that. I can't take it. And honestly, if we're talking about play calling, Alvin Kamara is used heavily, very heavy in the offensive game. He catch the ball out of the backfield. This man going down in ankle tackles. And I can think about a couple of years ago, they drew the ball to him out the backfield. You give him an ankle tackle, he going to just break that off and go about 7-8 yards. So, with that being said, I cannot take that. That's what we quick to do. That's what we quick to do. We quick to start talking about the play calling anytime the player that we like start struggling. Man, I'm not taking that, man. The play calling ain't got absolutely nothing to do with the fact about him getting up the field. It ain't got absolutely nothing to do with him running in between the tackles. When you put Latavius Murray in the game, he getting 5 and 6 yards a pop. Okay? I can only think of maybe a few games where he wasn't, breaking off, getting about 3 or 4 yards. I can't take that excuse, and I'm not taking that excuse. I think they should. He was hurt this season. I called him slippery butter, but the reason he wasn't slippery butter because he was hurt. Had it been for him being hurt, he would have been unbelievable this year. I disagree. He was falling before he got hit. $11 million is suitable for Kamara. Dude signed with LeBron James' agent. Yep, Clutch Sports. I'm not reading into that though. I'm not reading into that. But the only thing about with Clutch Sports, they they try to be player driven and stuff like that, and that might be an issue with player negotiations because they be wanting to fight for every dollar that they feel like a player deserves. So that might be a problem. But I ain't mad at that. I mean, it's no different with us being on our job. I mean, we gonna do the job, but we want more money. You know what I'm saying? We want the most money we can possibly get for our services. So I'm not mad at that. That's his job. I mean, that's Clutch Sports' job. He's not in He's not in between the tackles runner. He's great on the edge and catching the ball out of the backfield. Not this season, he wasn't. Clarence, Alvin is just not the type of back. He's basically a flanker. Kamara is more of a receiver, running back. Zeke, yep. Man, Zeke is a guy, like I said, he's an every down back. You pay 15.5 to every down backs. Agreed. I just thought he was going to do his own thing. In a contract year, basically, like you said, big brother, Dwayne Washington needs more field time. He really good when he takes the field. Yeah, I like Dwayne Washington, man. I think that's a really good player. If you ain't 100%, you ain't a Saint. I like him in Detroit. I guess you're talking about Dwayne Washington. Oh, yeah, or Alvin Kamara, yeah. I mean, he can do good in Detroit. They'll pay him. They've been looking for a running back since Barry Sanders left. Fair market value for Kamara, how much would you offer him? 12.5 or 12 mil, somewhere in between there. A lot of people live in the past, not true present. Yep. I don't base my analysis on what people did last week, last year. I don't, man. If I'm still living off what I did last week, I'm not really doing too much, am I? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about living in the present. I'm about production. Okay, I'm about production. I'm not bashing nobody. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going by what I see. And I'm not giving people the benefit of the doubt just because of who they are. I mean, that's never going to be me. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, man, I give you a prime example, right? Let's just say your child is a straight A student, all right? Your child is a straight A student for years. Your child has made straight A's. You're so proud of this child. You're telling everybody about this child. Oh, look at my baby. You showing a report card all on social media and stuff because you're so proud of your baby. All of a sudden, your baby comes home with C's and D's. Are you going to be like, oh, man, I'm going to just let that slide because they was making straight A's. They was making straight A's all these years, so some C's and D's, I'm okay with. No, you're going to be like, what in the world happened? Why are you making C's and D's when you was making all A's all these years? Case in point, some of your favorite players. When they're out there doing a good job, we're celebrating them, we're praising them, and it's deserving. Then all of a sudden we wondering what in the world happened. And I think it's well within our right to talk about it. I think it's well within our right to bring it up and acknowledge that they're not playing at the level that we're used to them playing. So, in conclusion, I don't feel like I'm wrong or anybody else in the Who Dat Nation is wrong for criticizing the play of some of these Saints players that we have seen play at a high level, even though I don't agree with the Lattimore statement. I can understand why people would feel that way. Or about Kamara, or about Breeze, or about some of these other players on the defensive side of football. It's well within our rights, folks. If we can praise and celebrate these people, we should be able to, voice our frustrations when we know they can do better. Facts. Let's see. What about Dwayne Washington? He seems underrated. I agree. I don't know why Dwayne Washington don't play. I don't see why the Saints don't use those running backs like San Francisco used their running backs. They use 3 running backs in San Francisco. I don't see why the Saints can't do the same thing. Because Dwayne Washington, I mean, he comes in late in the games and you always see him with a big run. Or you see him breaking tackles. Or you might see him almost take one to the house. So, I don't know. I don't know why they don't do that. But That has a lot to do with Sean Payton's and his inability to want to run the football. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. It just frustrates me that this guy does not want to run the football when you got all that talent in the backfield. And honestly, it may be Sean Payton's fault. I mean, I will concede to that point. Maybe it's Sean Payton's fault that we feel the way we do about Alvin Kamara. Maybe it's his fault that we feel in this way because, he's not running the football enough. But just like we may feel that way, I feel like that can be justified because paying $15.5 million for somebody that's probably going to touch the ball like 9 to 10 times running out of the backfield because that he's not going to commit to the run. It's not happening. It's not happening, folks. Let's see. I don't think I have any more questions. When you hurting, how could you possibly be what you was your first 2 years? Latavius Murray wouldn't have been getting the ball a lot if it wasn't for AK being hurt. Exactly. That's my point. That's my point, man. They're not running the football enough. They're not running the football enough, and they're not utilizing Latavius Murray enough. Honestly, if Latavius Murray has shown you that he can run the football, why not use him? And look, man, I'm not buying that whole he hurt thing. I'm not. Okay? If you're on the field, you can play. I'm sorry. I mean, the thing about it is, y'all acting like Alvin Kamara we expect Alvin Kamara to run for 150 yards. Like, I can probably count on one hand how many times he rushed for 100 yards in his career. It's not about that. It's about how you're being utilized and also how productive you are being. And when you're looking at a guy who you see is really good, has done some really good things, and some of the things that has made him good and has made him successful he's not doing anymore, it makes you raise your eyebrows and wonder what the heck is going on. So I'm not buying the whole he hurt thing. That's a cop-out. That's a cop-out because if we're going to say he's hurt, then we need to talk about some of these other players. Like, let's stop bashing Lattimore. Let's stop bashing Pete. Let's stop bashing guys like that, right? Because I can make an argument. Marshawn Lattimore messed up his hamstring earlier in the season, and we all know if you ever play sports, your hamstring doesn't just come back to normal within the next couple of weeks, but he was out there playing. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's give Patrick Robinson the benefit of the doubt because he's been injured with a knee injury for weeks at a time. So for him getting beat by Adam Thielen, let's give him a pass, okay? Because he was hurt, okay? There are so many other players that have been hurt this season. So many players, like around week 16, everybody hurt. Everybody hurt, man. I'm not using that excuse, man. Especially for a guy that never rushed for 100 yards in his probably, 2 or 3 times in his career? And that's what we up here. Like, man, stop it. Stop it with that. Stop it. Kamara looked like he wasn't full of this season run out of bounds, and his body language all season was bad. I'm just saying, man, I just seen something different out the cat. I'm sorry. Maybe it was contract negotiations. Maybe he looked at, he was making business decisions. I think he was making business decisions. I'm going to be honest. I ain't mad at him. I'm not mad at him. Because, the NFL don't care about these players. They don't. They don't care about these players, man. Man, they inject these players with all type of different things and stuff like that. Numb pain, numb joints, all that kind of stuff. All for these guys to go out there and parade around and do it in the name of the shield. I ain't mad at him for making business decisions, but I will call him out for making those business decisions. Sean Payton is too dependent on Drew Brees and the passing game. Yep. Yes, he is. And they ain't winning nothing as long as it's the way that it is. He can keep on doing that if he want to, but eventually he's going to get fired. Because we all know that we in the Who Dat Nation are very impatient. Like, we'll sing your praises and stuff like that for a while, and you'll probably have, like, the older crowd, the ones that just seen us sing so bad and they're afraid of change. Anything that looks like is a bit of a change, they get scared. Oh, I don't know about that. We so good. Let's not change nothing. Like, man, chill out, man. Like, the Saints are not what they used to be. And I think a lot of people kind of look at the Saints' success and who they had that success with, and they're afraid to move on from it. So they're okay as long as they, be able to dance around their living room on Sundays when the Saints, score a touchdown or something like that, and they can brag to their friends. Oh, the Saints didn't make the Super Bowl, but our record was better than your team record. And what does it matter? I mean, it don't really matter at the end of the day. Yeah, we won 3 straight division championships 3 years in a row, but what did it really give us? A couple of T-shirts and some bragging rights over the Falcons. Congratulations. I take Super Bowls and multiple Lombardi trophies any day over being able to talk trash to an Atlanta Falcon fan about who won a division. I can care less. I'm about winning Super Bowls. I'm about making this team as one of the most elite teams in the league. That is what's going to really take the bad taste out of the mouth of so many people out there that has been, dealing with the Saints hardships over the years and, watching other teams talk about us, about how bad we were. That'll shut them up really quick, okay? I mean, one Super Bowl, get them kind of quiet, but multiple Super Bowls will make them, excuse my French, shut the hell up. People favor their injuries, so it wouldn't happen again. I know how they treated my cousin when he got hurt. Man, Valerie, they don't care about these football players, man. They don't. They don't care about these football players. All they want these players to do is go out there on the field, so they can generate ratings and they can line their own pockets. Honestly, man, for how much money the NFL brings in, they bring in more money than the NBA and the Major League Baseball. And these guys get these 50-50 deals, 360 deals, like the hip-hop game. Barely giving these guys any type of money. They take the biggest risk going out there, and some of these guys not even making 6 figures sometimes. I think a lot of people just think all these guys just making millions of dollars. That's not true. Not at all. Sean needs to look how the rest of the NFL is transforming. There are more mobile quarterbacks than pocket passers now. Yeah, man. Robert, that's true. I mean, the pocket passer is slowly dying. Standing in the pocket, standing strong, clear pockets, being able to knit a sweater back there, throw a tea party, drink some Gatorade and then throw a football. Those days are over, man. These defensive ends and these interior linemen are so athletic, they fast, they can run almost as fast as wide receivers can. And, these guys get paid millions upon millions of dollars to go out there and try to get after the quarterback, and they do a really good job at it. So if your quarterback doesn't have a tad bit of an ability to actually scramble out of the pocket and make some plays sometime when the pocket breaks down, your team is going to be in trouble. So I think that you got to get yourself a quarterback that can be able to scramble just a tad bit. He ain't got to be out there on some Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick type stuff. But when the pocket breaks down, he got to be able to go out there and make a play. A prime example is Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is considered a pocket passer, but when the pocket breaks down, he's able to improvise and throw the ball downfield. And you need players like that. Let's see. You shocked me, fam. What did I shock you about? Let's see. I think teams would trade for Alvin Kamara right away. We could get at least one first and another pick. I agree with that. I think teams will trade for Alvin Kamara. I agree with that. I think that he will be good trade value, but I don't think the Saints going to end up trading him. They're going to probably try to work it out. A low first high for Kamara. Look at Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, Robert, look at him. You know what I'm saying? Look at him. Look at him, my friend. Look at the way that the NFL is evolving. That's why I don't understand why people just think, Taysom Hill won't be successful. I just don't get it. If you combine the fact that you can't sneeze on a quarterback anymore, If you hit them, you know what I'm saying, too hard, then they probably gonna throw a penalty flag. The way that the field is like wide open, like you can't just put a huge hit on a wide receiver anymore going across the middle. I don't understand why anybody don't think that a guy like Taysom Hill won't succeed. Like I don't understand it. But I think that goes back to what people just think. If they're not a sexy name or they're not a person that, is a household name or a person that they feel like they seen go out here and do great things, like guys can't evolve, like guys can't develop, like guys can't get better from year to year. I mean, I just don't get it. They just quick to bash somebody, but I don't know. I think sometimes, I think sometimes we Saints fans, we go by what we don't know, and I guess we just look at the things that we don't know, and it scares us. So we like, nah, that ain't it. I'm willing to give Taysom a chance because the Saints were winning games with Teddy Bridgewater, and I think that the Saints would be obligated. Honestly, I don't understand how anybody that's been talking about the Saints need to run the football, wouldn't be in favor for Taysom Hill to be the starting quarterback of the Saints. Because if he becomes the starting quarterback of the Saints are going to have to run the football. So if you're a fan of running the football, you probably would be okay with Taysom Hill being the starting quarterback for the Saints because they're going to run the football. They're going to run the football a whole lot more. So I don't understand how a person can be like, man, he ain't it. But then, turn around and say they need to run the football more because the way that the Saints will have to structure their team, they will have to be a run-based team if Taysom Hill is their starting quarterback. So I don't get it. Why the Saints salary cap is so tied up, like who we paying big contracts besides Thomas and Breeze? They contract salary cap not really too much tied up. It's not. It's not tied up now, prime time, because they hit so many times in the draft. From 2017 on to this year, they were able to get quality draft picks they can plug in right away. So you got a lot of guys on rookie deals. The only people that's really getting major money on the field, Cam Jordan, Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, Janoris Jenkins. He'll eventually have a big contract, but the Saints can kind of spread his contract out throughout the years. It depends on if he's willing to do that. Demario Davis, he has a pretty lucrative contract, but besides that, you got a lot of guys on rookie deals. Larry Warford doesn't have a rookie deal. I think he has a pretty decent contract, and Teron Armstead. But I don't know, man. It just comes with the territory. But the salary cap is going to boost up tremendously, so that should help the Saints out in a major way. Let's see. Taysom is going to open up the run game more because of the read option. Exactly, Ralph. Now somebody speaking my language. Thank you very much. If you trying to see what I'm talking about and why you should be happy, check out Ralph's comment that I just read. That's exactly right, Ralph. The only reason I say no to Hill is because the way he plays, he will get hurt. Well, I don't know. We only can go by what we know right now, and he's been playing pretty good, and he haven't got hurt yet. And I'm pretty sure, he'll probably taper down his game if he does become the starting quarterback because the Saints would, really be adamant about him doing so. The Saints got 24 free agents and 5 draft picks. Good luck. Yeah, but a lot of those guys going to end up getting cut. So, do you think they're going to go after D. Slay from the Lions? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, Keytree. It's not going to happen. I know a lot of Saints players were chiming in, talking about Darius Slay, Lattimore, Cam Jordan, talking about, how good it would be to have Darius Slay, Lattimore, and Jack Rabbit Jenkins. But that ain't happening, man. Darius Slay, at the age of 29 years old, is asking for a market value of $15 million. And to be honest with you, I don't think the Saints are going to pay a 29-year-old cornerback that type of money. And honestly, I don't think that they need him, man. I wish that Darius Slay get the money that he deserves because he was out there for the Detroit Lions for a long time, losing, basically squandering away good quality years in a Detroit Lions, organization. So hopefully he gets his money, his big payday, but I don't think they need to go that route. Who that, TJ? Just getting out the hospital, fighting a virus, just checking in. What's the latest topic, bro? Chosen, man, I hope you feel better, man. Shouts out to my guy, Chosen. We were just talking a little bit about Alvin Kamara, man, contract, and also answering questions from the Who That Nation. But I hope you feel better, man. Shouts out to Chosen. I'm not sold on Hill's arm for a starting quarterback. What have you seen for you to say that you're not sold on his arm, Corey? I'm just asking, man. I'm not being facetious, man. I'm just saying. Like I said, man, I just think that, honestly, man, I just think that we just look at certain like, give guys a chance, man. Give them a chance. Like, give them a chance to go out there and screw up. Like, go out there, like, they might succeed. They might screw up, but at least you know what direction you're going in. I'm not mad if the Saints try to go, see what Taysom got. Man, they know these guys a lot, better than we do. And honestly, man, you can't lie and say that this man hasn't improved over the last few years he's been in the Saints uniform. Sean too loyal to Breeze when I seen him took out Hill when we was going up the field with Hill to put Breeze in the red zone. I'm still ticked. I'm not mad at that prime time because Drew Brees is the starting quarterback, man. And how many times have we seen Taysom Hill make big plays and Drew Brees go back out there? Now, if you want to get mad at Sean Payton, you need to get mad at him for that play call that he called right after that play. Okay, why in the heck are you trying to throw the football when running the football was much better? You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, you got the first down. All you had to do was run the football. Because right now, the clock was on your side. So you throwing the football after, you seen that your offensive line has been struggling all game long, run the football. That's what you need to have a personal gripe with. The fact that he didn't run the football after Taysom had that big run. What about Jamal Adams from the Jets? I pass. Too much money. I like Jamal Adams, but nah, that ain't it. That ain't it. Too much money, man. Julius, we're talking about how, Saints always in cap trouble right now. And then you try to get one of the best safeties in the league in Jamal Adams. No, I don't think so, man. Good guy, good pick, good player. But I think he'll just be asking for too much money. Sign and trade Bridgewater for Bengals first pick. Darnell, not happening. If Teddy Bridgewater allows himself to be signed by New Orleans Saints and traded, I think he needs to get on the phone and fire his agent right after, okay? Because why in the world? Like, this makes absolutely no sense. I want you to follow me on this, Darnell. Okay, right now, Teddy Bridgewater is an unrestricted free agent. Means he can go anywhere he wants to go. He can go play for any team he wants to, okay? Now, follow me with this. Why would he decide to sign with the Saints only to get traded to a team he don't probably want to go to? If he does that, and if his agent negotiates that, he needs to get on the phone and say, you fired. Don't need to say nothing else. Say, you're fired. Okay? Because you're basically making a man who holds his own destiny in his hands, you're making him not be able to control his own destiny by getting signed back with the Saints. That would be a stupid idea, and I don't see that happening because his agent would be a moron. The upside of Taysom is high. I agree. Sign Apple back for $7 or $9 million per 4-year deal and put him in the slot. Have him with backup so he won't get burnt so much. Man, I'm over that, Eric. Eric, I like the logic. I get it. That seems like that's a good strategy, but I'm over these guys getting burnt. I'm sorry, folks. I can't subject myself no more to watching the Saints secondary get smoked, roasted, and toasted every single year. Look, I'm tired, man. Like, if the guy ain't it, Just get rid of him, man. Like, why are we around here still poking around the dead body? This guy is straight toast. You know what I'm saying? French toast. You know what I'm saying? Like, burnt toast. Like honestly, man, like, what are we doing? Texas toast. Like, this guy is straight up 100% toast. Why are we trying to put a square peg into a round hole? Why are we doing this, man? If the guy's out there getting roasted and getting posterized, and when the game is on the line and the chips are on the table, why in the world are we still trying to make these guys work? Get you some guys in this organization that can lock down on receivers and you can trust to make plays at the end of games. It's just as simple as that, folks. I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired. I'm tired of watching teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, who have struggled defensively in the secondary. Teams have been throwing parties all on these boys for years. Couldn't make a stop, even when the offense was really good. And finally, they needed one stop against the Tennessee Titans to make their way to the Super Bowl, and they did it. In the Super Bowl, they needed one stop against the 49ers, and a guy picked the ball off. Wouldn't you want that for the Saints? I'm just asking, wouldn't you want that for your team? Don't you get tired of watching and holding your breath and hoping and wishing and praying on a 4th and 1 or a 4th and 2 or a 4th and 7 or a 4th and 16 that the Saints secondary can get a stop? If the guys can't get the job done, let them go. Just let them go. Don't give them no money. That's why I don't understand. Why in the hell were you paying P.J. Williams? What did P.J. Williams show you last year that he deserved for him to come back this year? I have not a clue. Leave these toast boys alone. Leave them alone. It's just as simple as that. Leave these burnt biscuits where they at. Let other teams go out there and invest in them. Let them get the Ken Crawleys. Like Ken Crawley, I think he got signed by the Raiders, after being cut by the Dolphins and not re-signing. Congratulations to him. Allow P.J. Williams to go out there and ruin the hopes and the dreams of another fan base. Let him do it. Let him do it, man, because I'm tired of seeing it. Allow Eli Apple to go out there and get smoked from on another team on a fade route. You know what I'm saying? Let them go out there and hurt the Dallas Cowboy fans every single week by going out there and getting roasted and toasted. Please. I'm tired, man. I'm tired, folks. I don't know about y'all. Once again, I am tired. I want some players that can lock some guys down. I want some players that going to turn their head around. I want some players that going to turn the ball over. I want some ball hawks. I want some rough riders. I want some dogs. I want some savages. And they don't have that. They don't got no savages out there. They got a bunch of puppies out there. That's what they got, man. Guys that are easily broken, straight China dolls when it comes to the confidence. You can do as many hand gestures as you want to and all cool type of handshakes you want to. But in reality, you can do those handshakes all you want to. But eventually, the inevitable is going to happen. And we all know who that nation. They're going to break your heart. And I'm over it. I'm over it. What kind of guard do you like coming up? Left guards. Roy, honestly, I have not done any research right now on the guard position. I'm supposed to later on today. I'm going to sit down and watch some film on some of these college players, and I'll have an answer for you coming up really soon, man. This week I just evaluated receivers. Next week, I'm probably going to focus on the quarterbacks, but today I'm going to focus on the offensive line position because somebody asked me to do that. But good question, Roy. Let's see. Saints need wide receivers. Apple can go. He's done. Eli Peterson Crawley needs to go. P.J. Williams can't stop me, and I haven't played football since '96. It's them Ohio State DBs. I have nothing against Ohio State DBs, Darnell. I have an issue against defensive backs that get smoked. I'm just tired, man. I'm just over that. I'm over it. I'm for real. Y'all just don't know, man. When you watch teams that struggle year to year, record wise, defensive statistically, offensive statistically, and you see them turn around and you just wonder to yourself, like, why my team can't get it right? Why my team can't stop nobody? Why my team can't get a pass rush? Why my team can't, get a receiver on the opposite side of one that's an elite receiver? Like, why? What is really going on here? Like, why my coach can't commit to the run? Why am I watching a 49ers team basically just become one-dimensional and still beat teams? But my team don't even want to try to run the football. I mean, you just get tired of it, man. And right now, you all are looking at a very frustrated and tired member of the Who Dat Nation. I'm just tired, man. When you know your team is capable of doing great things, and the only logical explanation you can come up with is they don't want to. Like, I'm over it, man. I want these guys to run the football. I want these guys to play good defense. I want to see some turnovers. I just want to see some dogs, man. I want to see some savages. I'm tired of watching Marcus Williams tackle people's knees instead of trying to knock these guys down to the ground. I'm over that, man. And I like Marcus Williams a lot. I think that he has a lot of promise, and I really think he's one of those guys that's going to have a long career in the National Football League, but I'm just over it, man. I just want to see some guys go out there and perform at a high level, man. I'm not seeing it, and it's very discouraging, folks. It's very discouraging. Do you think it's time for Rankins to be replaced? Can't seem to stay healthy. Steve, not yet. I would give him one more year. If he does not if he's not able to play a complete season, then I would probably go in the direction of Shy Tuttle. Shy Tuttle has had a really good season. And I'm not just saying that because, he stiff armed the heck out of Matt Ryan on Thanksgiving. I just think that he's a really athletic defensive tackle, and I think he did a great job in the absence of Sheldon Rankins. I just think that he just needed to grow up a little bit more, learn, get some game experience, and he'll be okay. What about Beasley and free agent at defensive end? Vic Beasley, that wouldn't be too bad. My only concern about Vic Beasley is his inconsistency. And, I don't know, man. But, I mean, he did play for the Falcons, and I think we all can agree that the Atlanta Falcons can really bring out the worst in the defensive end. I mean, these guys can't get pressure. Honestly, man, they couldn't get pressure if they actually turned the water on. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't get pressure at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, they couldn't get water pressure, you know what I'm saying, blood pressure, none of that. They struggle on the defensive line, man. And they always be like last in the league at rushing the quarterback. And I think that his career, suffered because of that. I think that if he goes to the right team, I think if he goes to the right situation, I think he'll be okay. I want to see some dogs. I want to see some savages. Yep, that's what I want. I want to see some dogs. I want to see some savages. I want to see some rough riders. I don't want to see no puppies, okay? I ain't trying to see no puppies out there no more, okay? If you ain't got that dog mentality, I ain't got nothing for you. I ain't got nothing for you. Straight up. I'm over it, man. I don't know about y'all, and I don't feel, honestly, if I felt like I was nitpicking or even thought I was nitpicking, I probably wouldn't even go in this direction. But I don't even feel like I'm nitpicking. I feel like every feeling that I'm having right now is justified. Honestly, man, like how many years are we going to have to subject ourselves to guys getting roasted and toasted down the field in crucial situations? How many times do we have to sit on the edge of our seat sweating like a preacher about to come to a close in a Baptist church and hoping that our team be able to win a football game? Like, I'm tired of it, man. Like, I'm tired of sitting on the edge of my seat. You want excitement in your game, but, bruh, like, you will want a team that can actually make a stop. I think you should apply for the head coaching job, man. A lot of these issues will probably be fixed. Casey, I doubt that very highly, my friend. I thank you very much for your comment, but nah, man, I ain't it, man. At the end of the day, I'm just a fan. I'm a fan who loves the Saints. I'm a fan who loves football, and we just got to be honest with ourselves, folks. I think sometimes we just got to take the emotional aspect out of it and really speak some real. We love our players, man. We love these Saints players. Like, it's like almost talking about our own family members, man. We really go hard for these guys, but when they not performing and they not doing what they need to do, like I don't deflect. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't deflect. You know, every day I wake up in the morning, I think to myself, like, how can I become a better person? I don't look at like, oh, I wasn't a better person yesterday because this person said this to me and it made me react this way. Nah, I look at myself. I evaluate myself. It's so easy for us to deflect and talk about what other people are doing instead of looking at what we're actually doing. It's so easy for us to look at, other players or other coaches and stuff and say, oh, that's the reason why this player is not successful. But when you take a really close look and you really evaluate these players and you really just look at the guys and the way they perform and not just look at the fact of how much you like them or how much you appreciate them or how good they look or how, like all that other stuff that really don't matter. Just look at them play the game. I guarantee you, some of your opinions and thoughts and views will change. And that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with every single thing that I do. I like these players, man, a lot. I respect these players a lot because at the end of the day, they do things that we can't do as regular everyday Joe Blows. They have athleticism that we don't have. They have abilities that we don't have. They go through things that we don't go through. But at the end of the day, when I look at the game and I evaluate it, I'm only going by what I see. Let's see. You not nitpicking, you speaking for the majority of us. Eric, thank you very much, man. I try not to nitpick. I go up, man. I'm telling y'all, anybody, like most of the people on this page was upset with me because of my strong stance about Drew Brees in that playoff game. I've heard people say I don't like Drew Brees. I've seen people unfollow this page. I've seen people say that I'm a fair weather fan, but I don't care. I don't care who that nation because I never go into any video. I never make any statement based on emotion, ever. I always, like I may be frustrated at the game. Wait, let me take that back. Some things that I say based on emotion. But a lot of the times what I do is pretty logical. I let some time go by. If you ever notice, like after a football game, I decompress. Like you never see me with hot takes right after a game. Like I never go live after a game. Like I always kind of let like what I do after a game, like rather they win or lose, I play with my son. You know what I'm saying? I hang out with my fiance. We probably watch a movie or something like that. And then I go to the mic. Or then, or I go to the webcam or my phone and post a video. Because I try to be as logical as I can, at evaluating the game. Because if I come on there like just, straight right after a loss, like you're going to really get that out of me. But, you really can't just go into a game based on emotion, man. But I'm going to criticize people where I feel like they need to be criticized, no matter what player, no matter what level of player they are, no matter if they're elite, future Hall of Famer, non-future Hall of Famer, I'm going to call it for what it is. Sean Payton isn't the defensive coordinator. He's definitely not the defensive coordinator, and that's one of the reasons as to why, I don't really too much criticize him when it comes to the defensive game. But I can make arguments sometimes that some of the play calling of Sean Payton is questionable to say the least. I think he overthinks himself. I think that he out-schemes himself. I think that sometimes he coaches against himself. Okay, I mean, honestly, who cares what teams know what you're going to do if you're good at it? Okay? Honestly, who cares? Like, do you think that Kyle Shanahan cared that teams knew he wanted to run the football first? Do you think that Andy Reid cared that he threw a lot of screens in the offensive game? Do you think he cared that teams actually knew that that's what he does? Do you think that John Harbaugh cared that that teams knew he was going to run RPOs? Who cares at the end of the day? If you got those dogs on your team, if you got that, in the words of Soldier Slim, if you got those guys with the soldier life mentality, you get what I'm saying? If you got those guys on your squad, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Because you got the guys on your team that can back up what you're selling on the field. And I feel like Sean Payton does not respect his players because he will run the ball one time, guy get negative yards. Run the ball again, get 1 yard. He'll just completely suspend the running game. Like, if that don't tell you don't respect your players, if that don't tell you that you don't have no trust in your players, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't. But I'm about to go ahead and wrap this up, folks. This has been fun, man. This has been fun right here. But once again, the State of the Saints podcast, we're going to be doing videos of NFL prospects. I know a lot of people may have filed in a little bit late. We've been at this for a while. We're doing videos leading up to the NFL draft on possible NFL prospects that can land with the New Orleans Saints, okay? So probably going to be the offensive linemen, probably going to be receivers, probably going to be quarterbacks. We're going to be talking about all of these players, okay? So I know some people are watching my videos and they're putting comments down below about different players. I guarantee you, I'm going to, I'm going to be talking about so many players leading up to the NFL draft that can possibly land with the Saints, okay? And also, I'm encouraging people to come up with a mock draft of their own. Really sit down, man. Put your GM hat on, and this is what I'm going to do. We're going to do a contest, all right? We're going to do a contest, and we're going to do mock drafts. And I want individuals to send me their mock drafts. And let's just say, for example, if you get the majority of your picks right or the positions right, because I know it might be a little hard because you never know, teams might end up getting a guy that you think may be a third round and might get them a second round. If the Saints draft that particular position or they draft that particular player, the person that gets those players correct or those positions correct more than the other person will receive a State of the Saints podcast t-shirt. So submit your mock drafts to me and, put your GM hat on, man. Put your scouting hat on. And let me know, who do you think the Saints are going to pick up? But we're going to be doing videos talking about some of these players. And also, we're going to be discussing like so many other topics leading up to the NFL draft. And also, man, we got a new sports page called the State of the Game podcast. So the State of the Game podcast, we break down some of the hottest news in sports, okay? So not only am I a Saints fan, diehard, but I'm also a sports fan. So we talk about different sports. I'm alongside some of my correspondents, my NBA correspondent and analyst, Brandon Thompson. We talked a little bit about the Pelicans, the Lakers, some of these trades that been going on in the NBA. So if you're a fan of sports, I think you'll like the State of the Game. So go to Facebook.com, search State of the Game podcast. And also on YouTube.com, search The State of the Game podcast. And also subscribe to the State of the Saints podcast on YouTube. YouTube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. Once again, this has been the State of the Saints podcast. And I am TJ Jones. And thank you all for your feedback and your love. But like always, all I got to say is, who dat? Y'all have a good weekend.